walls are lined with the echoes of historical debates and scientific discoveries, Max, a student with a penchant for mischief, finds himself constantly amused by his professor, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, a scholarly figure with a towering presence, prides himself on his encyclopedic knowledge, often boasting that no question could stump him. One particularly sunny afternoon, as the light streamed through the windows casting patterns on the desks, Mr. Johnson, feeling particularly confident, threw down the gauntlet, proclaiming he could handle any curveball the students could pitch. Max, spotting a golden opportunity from his perch at the back of the room, raised his hand with a grin that was all too telling. The room fell silent, the air thick with anticipation. Max, with a twinkle in his eye, delivered his challenge. How many hairs are on a cat? The simplicity of the question masked its devious nature, and a ripple of amusement spread through the classroom. Mr. Johnson's face, usually an unreadable mask of academic seriousness, turned a shade of red seen typically on the ripest of tomatoes. After a brief moment, which felt much longer than it actually was, Mr. Johnson responded with unexpected precision. It depends on the cat's breed and size, but on average about 60,000 hairs. The class, caught off guard by such a detailed answer, let out an audible gasp. Max, however, didn't miss a beat. "Wow, you really know your cat facts, Mr. Johnson," he exclaimed, his voice dripping with feigned astonishment. The class couldn't contain themselves any longer and burst into hearty laughter. Even Mr. Johnson, realizing the playful nature of the challenge, allowed himself a chuckle. This moment marked the beginning of a spirited and humorous dynamic that would define the rest of the semester. Max continued to serve as the class joker, always armed with a question that was as entertaining as it was challenging. Mr. Johnson, on the other hand, embraced the limits of his own knowledge, understanding that not having all the answers didn't diminish his expertise, but rather humanized him in the eyes of his students. In the end, everyone in that classroom learned something valuable. Mr. Johnson realized the importance of humility and the joy in learning from unexpected interactions. Max, meanwhile, understood that humor could be both a tool for learning and a way to create memorable experiences. The classroom, buzzing with laughter and learning, was never quite the same again. And as for the rest of us, we're reminded that sometimes the best knowledge comes wrapped in a question about the number of hairs on a cat. Please don't forget to subscribe.